Welcome to our workshop on high performance computing. My name is Franco, and on this video we will talk about text editor, in particular Nano, Emacs, and VI. When you are working on the HPC cluster, most of the time you will be editing files. Either you will be editing source code, or editing your submission scripts, or dealing with the output of your executions. So text editor is something that you will be working on at some point. So let's start by making a difference between a text editor and a word processor. On your desktop computer, when you write letters, you are using a word processor. That is different from a text editor. On a text editor, you only work with the text. On a word processor, you not only write the text, but also decide the formatting, the fonts, the size of those fonts. So the formatting is also there, and the purpose of using a word processor is producing a document that will be printed or for which a PDF will generate it for someone to see on a screen or on a physical format. Our next text editor is just dealing with the text. Also, we are working only, we will be demonstrating just terminal-based text editors. We will not demonstrate the use of editors that requires a window popping on your screen. So those editors right now will be just from the terminal. And we have three: Nano, Emacs, and VI. The selection of the editor is a very personal selection, it's a choice. For beginners, maybe the easiest could be Nano. It has no learning curve, it's easy to use, it's very good when you are not dealing with large files, and the kind of editing that you are doing is not that big. And also you have the commands that you use often on the bottom of the screen, so you basically don't need to learn anything if you don't want to. As you progress on your skills and you require more editing, or you work more intensively editing files, you will be moved towards a different editor, maybe Emacs or VI. The selection between those is a very personal one. Emacs is a very customizable and extensible editor. It's very good. It offers syntax highlighting for many languages, so that's very convenient when you are writing source code. Also, they have integration with debuggers, so you can execute the code and still being inside the editor. And Emacs is capable of a lot of things. It's even possible to run a web browser on this text editor. On the other side, VI is a very powerful editor, but it works very differently from the previous editors. It's a modal editor. It means that by hitting special keys, you change the mode of that editor and allow you to enter commands or to write text. The advantage of that is that you don't have to use as many key combinations as you have to with Nano or Emacs. But also that makes a little bit counterintuitive for beginners trying to figure out how to move and even entering text on this text editor. So we will be demonstrating those three editors for basically the same four purposes. So opening and closing the files, moving around on the file, copying and paste or carrying portion of the text, and finally searching for specific words or searching and replace text. So let's start with Nano. So for this exercise, I will be downloading a file. It's a big file. It has like 30,000 lines, so it's very good for demonstrating some capabilities of those editors. On your bottom right of the video, you can see a small blank square where the commands that we use, or the commands that I type on my keyboard, can be shown, so you know exactly what I'm typing. So right now I download the file. It's right here. So let's start with Nano. For opening the file with Nano, you just hit Nano, and I will complete the name of the file with this. And here I have the file right now. So now let's start with Nano. For leaving the editor is Control X, and you see that on the bottom left of the screen of the terminal, that by hitting Control X you leave the editor. If by chance you have entered something, any modification of that, when you hit Control X, it will ask you, do you want to modify the file? And you can say yes, okay. Anyway, do you want to write it on this file? Let's see, enter, and the file has been modified. Now moving, let's open the file again. You can move as usual with the arrow keys. You see that the arrow keys on your keyboard are good for moving around. There are also key combinations if you want to use those and not moving your hand out of the keyboard. So you can use Control B to move back, Control F to move forward, Control P to move lines up, and Control N to move lines down. If you want to move in a specific line, you use Control underscore. So my underscore is on the top of the minus sign, so I will be hitting this, and it will ask me for which line I would like to go. Let's say I would like to go to the line 3000, hit enter, and I will be there on the line 3000. Now this file has more than 30,000 lines, so it's not it's a waste of time trying to go up 3,000 lines just to go to the very top, and on 30,000 lines down to go to the bottom. So this command is very useful when you have big files, and you usually have on certain simulations, they generate big files, and you need to read those files. You need to search around on those big files. So for going to the very beginning, I use the meta backslash. Another way of doing that to replace the meta, because the meta is a key that you will not see on your Windows keyboard, and you cannot see that on the Mac keyboard. So usually that is mapped to the option key on the Mac, and you can select that on your terminal to use this option key in that way, or sometimes that is mapped as the Windows key on the Windows keyboard. So, but to avoid that confusion, you can also use escape to jump to use it as the equivalent of meta. So use escape and backslash, and I'm now on the first line of this file, and I can use escape slash to go to the very end of the file. Now let's go back to the beginning of here of this file, and let's start copying and paste. So let's delete this, for example. Let's you want to delete this. You select by using the meta A, in my case, A, meta escape A, you can use it, and start selecting the text, and you see that the text that you have selected will be highlighted. You copy this with escape 6, and at this moment you have selected the text for copying. Let's make a space here so you can see the effect, and you paste that text that you have copied on the clipboard with Ctrl U. So we have copy and paste the text. Also, you can delete individual lines with Ctrl K if you want to cut text. So you hit Ctrl K and you can delete individual lines here. Searching. So imagine that we would like to search a specific word here. So you use the Ctrl W, and you see and you can see that on the bottom of the screen there is Ctrl W for searching. So I will hit Ctrl W. It asks me, okay, what I would like to search for. United States. Let's search for this word here, and it will go to the first instance where that string can be found. Another thing is, if you want to replace lines, imagine that we would like to replace United States by United States of America. So for doing that, you hit Ctrl backslash. As I have searched before for the United States, that's the option that it shows here as default in the square brackets. But let's retype it. Would like to replace United States by United States of America. So now Nano is asking, do you want to replace this everywhere, just for this first instance? And let's say I would like to replace it everywhere. So I will go, hit all, and it executes 345 replacements on this file. So that is how you work with that. As you can see, it's very easy to work with. Most of the commands that show you, you can see those on the bottom of the screen, so you don't need to learn them. And let's imagine that I would like to leave. It will ask, okay, save this buffer, yes, no. I will say no, so I don't want to preserve those changes for demonstrating the next editor. So this is Nano, very easy to use, and probably the best the first selection for beginners in Linux environments from the terminal. So now let's go to our second editor here, Emacs. With Emacs, it's basically the same. Opening the file, you can Emacs, but on the cluster we have also the X11 version of Emacs. So the version that pop-ups windows on Emacs window on your screen. If you want to stay on your terminal, the way of doing that is saying no windows. Even if it's present, it will open the Emacs application just inside the terminal. So that's what we are doing here. And same as Nano, you are perfectly fine editing the files with moving around with your arrow keys, up, down, left, right. They have also the possibility of using the 4 letters that I show you for Nano: Control B for moving back, Control F for moving forward, Control N for moving to the next line, Control P for moving to the previous line. So that's also there. For moving to a specific line, so again, Emacs relies on the use of meta for controlling the keyboard. So you can either use mapping the meta key on your keyboard or using the escape. I usually use escape here. So escape GG will ask me for on which line I would like to go. So I would like to go to the line 3000, and here I am, and on the line 3000. For going to the very beginning and the very end of the file, and again, this file is quite big, so this is important to know, is meta less than. So in my case, the escape and less than, and I will go to the first line, and escape greater than will move me to the last line on the file. Okay, so now let's go back to the very beginning. Selecting portions of text for copying, cutting, and pasting. So for doing that, we start with Control and the spacebar, and you see on the bottom there is shown the mark set. So it at this point is selecting the region that you want to copy. You have two options here. You can copy this without removing this text from the place with escape W, and at that moment the text has been copied, and you paste that text with Control Y. That's one option. Another option is, for example, going into Control space, selected the region that you want to copy, and at this time we would like to cut this portion. So we would like to keep those lines on the clipboard for Emacs and paste it somewhere else. So for that I will use Control W. The text disappears, is on the clipboard, and when I would like to copy back this, for example here, I just hit Control Y and the text will be there. You can also delete entire lines with Control K, or Control K and will delete entire lines. Now, searching lines or text on Emacs is with Control S. So let's search as we did for Nano for United States, and it will go directly in real time to the first instance of that string. If you would like to replace lines with a specific text, or characters for another string, we use meta percent symbol. So on this case, I will be using escape, and I use shift to get the percentage, and it's asking me, okay, what you would like to replace. I would like to replace United States, every single instance of that string, for United States of America. So now it will ask me, do you want to replace this? And you can say, okay, yes, and it will ask for the next one, or you hit exclamation mark for replacing all of them. If you don't know that, you can just hit question mark, and you get a help buffer here showing the different options for you. So exclamation mark will replace all of them. So we have replaced that here. For leaving this editor, we hit Ctrl X C. It will ask if you would like to save the file, and we'll say no, I don't want to save the file. This buffer file has been modified. If you want to exit, losing everything that have changed, I will say yes, and I will be leaving without making effective those changes. So this is Emacs. You notice that it has more capabilities. It actually is able to do far more than Nano. But for this very brief exercise, we can show basically one-to-one capability mapped on all those three terminals. So now let's move to our third editor in this video, and it will be VI. VI. There are two versions here for VI. There is the original VI, but we'll prefer to show you the VI improved version. So the advantage of VI is that VI is always available, no matter what, because it has been standardized. Even if a computer has no Nano or Emacs, VI will always be there. So that's a powerful reason for learning this editor, because you will be able to use it no matter what. And the advantage of using Vim over the original VI is that allow you to do a number of things, like going undo several steps, and also allow you to move on your file using the arrow keys, and we will see this in a moment. So same thing, I will be editing the same file with Vim. So this time we see no top bar, not bottom bar, so everything is on the screen. So the first thing, leaving this editor, you arrive to this point and you don't know how to leave this editor, you leave this way. You hit ESC to ensure that you are on the normal mode, column, and quit, and you have left this editor. So the first thing to know. Move it around, let's go back. First line, so for going to the first line is column 1, and this is the first line on this file. For going to the last line on this, the last of something is always indicated with $. So here $, will go to the last line on this file, and you can see on the bottom there is the number of lines in this file, 34,000 lines. So escape 1 for going to the very first line here. Now, if you are using Vim, the VI improved version, notice that you can use the keyboard arrow keys and you are able to move around. On the original VI, or if by chance you don't have access to those arrow keys for some reason, VI in the normal mode, so hit an escape if you are not in the normal mode, you can move around. So you can use H for moving back, you can use L for moving to the right, you can use J for moving down, you can use K for moving up. So they have those 4 keys for moving around on the terminal. So notice that all those commands on VI are basically with just one finger. You don't have to hit multiple keys or key combination for getting those. But the price of that is that this is a modal editor when you have to change modes in order to do things. So if you would like to go to a specific line, you just hit column and, for example, 3000. Same thing. This is the way on Vim, on VI, from going to the line 3000. Now, let's go for the first line. Now, we would like to copy and paste regions. So for doing that, you need to change the mode. For doing that, you hit from normal mode. So if you are not sure or you don't see the insert there, you see the insert, so you hit escape and you go back to normal mode. With V, you go to visual mode. At that moment, you can start selecting text, and it will be highlighted on Vim. So for copying this text, this portion of text, you use Y, and it show you the number of lines being. And let's make a space here. So for editing on this on VI, you need to enter in insert mode. There are 2 versions of insert mode. With I, you start entering text on the place where you have your cursor, so you can start typing here. If you are in normal mode, and let me see, let's make the example clearer here. So if I am here on normal mode and I hit I and I start writing C, this C will be before A, right? If I am in normal mode and I hit A, C will start being typed after the A, so it will move to the next character. 2 options to enter into insert mode, or so for editing the file you need to be on an edit mode, on an insert mode. So let's select again this. So I will be entering visual mode. I will select these files. I will be copying those lines. I will be pasting those. You can paste with P. Noting that with P, it will paste after that A. If I have, let's see if I make the example here, AAA, BBB, and I go here and I paste with Shift P, so in normal mode, Shift P, it will paste before the letter A. So those things take some time to get used to. when you are copying or pasting after or before the location of your cursor, but there is not much to it. If you want to delete one line, same thing that we did on Nano on Emacs, is just going into normal mode, and DD will be deleting lines one by one. If we imagine that you want to remove a certain portion of text, so you go to visual mode and you select the region that you want to delete, and you hit D, and all that text has been deleted. So now searching from the normal mode. If you are not sure, hit escape for going to the normal mode. You use / for searching. So same as we did for the others, United States. Let's search for that. Here we are. This is the first line that contains United States on this file. If we like to replace a string for another, this is the way of doing it. You hit escape just to be sure that you are on normal mode. Column %s, and now the text that you want to search. This text that you want to replace that, and G. If you hit enter at this point, it will edit all those instances that contain the word United States everywhere on the file. If you hit with C, it will ask you every single time, so you decide if you would like to apply or not the replacement. So let's replace all of them for this exercise, and have replaced all the places for United States of America. So those are the main skills that you need to learn from an editor. With this, you can do most of the editings, even in big files. If you want to go deeper, you can see on the web page that we have some images or collection of shortcuts for all those three editors. Again, the selection of the editor is a very personal one. Nano, if you don't want to learn too much and you don't expect to edit too many files, so Nano is just fine. If you want to go deeper and you are editing files a lot, you probably will need to choose between Emacs or VI. Choose one, learn the commands, and move on. Let's escape here. So I will be using Q, column Q. It will say no, I cannot do that because the file is different. So I would like to override that with this, and I will be leaving. Okay, that will be all. And thank you very much. See you next time. Bye.